So I was scrolling through my analytics the other day and I realized that 75% of the people who watch my videos aren't even subscribed to my page. Y'all sleeping on me worse than my girlfriend. Listen, if you like one of my videos, chances are you're gonna like most of them. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I got a lot of content you'll probably enjoy. Who is Kawaki? It seems like it's a rather obvious question. He's a child, an orphan, raised by a drunken bastard who sold him to Jigen for pennies on the dollar, right? And at a base level, you would be absolutely correct because that is who we have been told Kawaki is. But there's a couple theories out there that change up that story substantially. Before we get too far into those theories though, make sure you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and go ahead and click on that noti bell because we post 3 YouTube videos a week on this page and they're all anime all the time, baby. Let's go. Also, I have a co-host this episode. She's asleep, but she's a very deep sleeper, so don't worry about her. So let's quickly glance over what we know about Kawaki to be absolutely true. Kawaki was born, probably by 2 parents, obviously, but was raised by a single abusive alcoholic father in an outsider kind of remote village. Where that village is located, we don't know. We can assume it's in one of the border nations around the Land of Fire, somewhere on the outskirts, but a definite location, we have no idea. In his childhood, he cut wood in order to sell it to pay for his father's alcoholism. That was the only way that his father would allow him to eat dinner. And he lived this hellish existence until Jigen came to his village looking for children and bought him from his father for a somewhat substantial amount of money. It was at that point that he was taken from his remote village to Kara's hideout by Jigen. And at that point, it became clear to Kawaki that he and several other children were about to go through a round of scientific experiments. These scientific experiments were just actually Jigen trying to bind a karma mark to any suitable vessel, preferably a younger one. Long story short, every child who Jigen collected outside of Kawaki dies in this binding process, and Kawaki is left with a karma seal on his left palm. We then get the events of Boruto and boom, right? Clearly the story's over. We know who Kawaki is, we know how we got there, all that. Or is it entirely different? There's 2 major theories on how Kawaki came to be into the Borutoverse. Both of them are centric around his hair color, which is very unique even for the anime universe of Naruto. It's blonde on the sides and black on top, almost implying that he's a combination of 2 distinct bloodlines. The first theory states that Orochimaru in Naruto had a kid. And not in the way you're thinking. We all know Mitsuki, we know Orochimaru is capable of making clones of himself, right? We also know because of the beginning of the war arc when Kabuto and Orochimaru revive essentially everyone who's ever been important from the Naruto universe, that Orochimaru and Kabuto are very good at obtaining DNA from those who you would think it would be difficult to obtain DNA from. So, this theory states that Orochimaru, using a bit of Naruto's DNA that he had collected from either the time he invaded the Leaf the first time or any other time Naruto decided to bleed on the street the dozens of times it happened, and he used that DNA to combine with his and grow a little test tube baby that grew up to be Kawaki. And this theory isn't as insane as it might sound, because yes, we already have Mitsuki, but more than that, he has Naruto's hair on the side and Orochimaru's hair on the top. And on top of that, why would a karma seal bind so well to Kawaki as opposed to other children? Orochimaru's experiments with curse marks is incredibly well documented, and the parallels that it has to karma seals are undeniable. Both are a seal placed by a user onto a vessel in order to use them to reanimate one day, and both allow the person who the seal is placed on to use the chakra of the person who placed said seal onto them. Going even further than that, both seals slowly spread as they begin to give you more power, but as you use more of those seals' power, the more you become like the person who put the seal on you. So who better to receive a karma marking than somebody biologically predisposed to receive a curse mark? Think about Mitsuki's curse mark. mark. It exists inside of him because Orochimaru implants them in any of his clones. One step further than this is Kawaki's ability to morphogenically change his arms and limbs into stone-like extensions. His ability to launch rapid cellular division in order to change his body's anatomy into sharp blades or extending tendrils is stated to be because of his shinobi wear. But what if it is because of his likeness or genetic similarities to Orochimaru, who can do similar feats? After all, Orochimaru can stretch his limbs and his arms, and so can Mitsuki. And it stands to reason that in order to stretch one's arms and or one's neck, it would require massive cellular division. This would also explain how insanely fast and powerful Kawaki is. He was able to block a light speed attack from Delta before even Naruto could react to it in order to save Himawari. Also, if you think of it from just an anime standpoint, Kawaki is now biologically related to Naruto, which increases the stakes of his relationship tenfold. Now Naruto is no longer just Kawaki's teacher, he's his father. And now Kawaki and Boruto aren't just brothers from another mother. No, they're brothers from the same father. The second theory states that Kawaki is actually from the future. And if I'm being honest here, I'd say this one is a bit more out there, even comparatively to the Naruto and Orochimaru had a kid theory. The way that this theory explains Kawaki's blonde and black hair is that he is Boruto and Sarada's child. He has Boruto's blonde and Sarada's black on top, and he has traveled from a destroyed future in order to stop Boruto from destroying the leaf. This theory is mostly predicated on Momoshiki's moment with Boruto when he looked at him and said, "Your visual prowess will be the end of it all." Of course, in this circumstance, Momoshiki is referring to Boruto's incredibly mysterious Jogan, the True Eye. Since the Jogan is anime only and not in the manga, we have little to no clue what it is or what it is capable of or what it will do to Konoha down the line. But what we do know is it allows Boruto to look into the Otsutsuki dimension and occasionally open up space-time dojutsus. The theory essentially states that Kawaki has to be from the future because of his advanced knowledge of the Otsutsukis and their techniques. On top of that, it makes sense of his instant bond with Boruto, them both being able to open space-time dojutsus together by combining their karmas. And it explains his speed and power because a child from Boruto and Sarada would be insanely powerful. I personally subscribe to the Orochimaru and Naruto had a baby theory much more than I subscribe to the Kawaki is from the future theory. One, because the thought of Orochimaru and Naruto having a child is hilarious to me, and two, because I don't believe the Kawaki is from the future theory has a lot to stand on. I actually believe there's some solid points for the Naruto and Orochimaru theory though. However, if I've convinced you of either of these theories, or you just enjoyed listening to the sound of my voice over these last 7 or so minutes, go ahead guys and like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. Like I said before, we post 3 times a week and it's all anime all the time over here. I'm happy you guys listened all the way to the end, and listen, Kawaki may just be from an alcoholic father and the outskirts of nowhere. Wouldn't it be funny to hear him call Orochimaru dad just once?